What up, players? It's Warboss Tay back up in this mug. One thing I have not seen a lot of coverage for over these past couple of days since the big release of the Warhammer preview this past weekend is the new warband released into Warhammer Underworlds called the Mob of Mork, or better known as Hedrekka's Madmob. Let's take a look at him. The Savage Orruks have magic, ranged attacks, and a couple of boys what like to get up close and personal with enemy fighters. Okay, now we're taking a look at the video on the Warhammer community website. Look at these models. Wow, not really well lit, but I get the effect they're going for. Bring the noise. Shouldn't it be duh? Yeah, there you go. That's some better lighting. Wow. 4 in the box. Okay. With savage boys. They look great. And all their brutal ploys. Who writes this? Oh boy. Hedrekka's Madmob. So we're going to take a look with the... they have a slideshow component here on the website, Warhammer Community. We're going to take a look at each model. I'm going to give you my thoughts on them, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Here is the Shaman model. I wanted to start with him because I love the look of him. He really evokes the old Wartsag model with the staff raised, the leg up like he's dancing a tribal dance. Of course, the face mask is a dead giveaway that this is a direct homage to the Wartsag model. I like the feathers. I like the snake that's wrapped around his left arm. You don't even see that on first glance because the model itself is so wild to look at. I just noticed that snake wrapped around his left arm. I think if I were to paint it, I would go with a brighter color scheme. Maybe that orange with the black and yellow rings snake that seems to be pretty popular. And look, I just love the look of it. And you can see there's the purple plum color that they're using for his loincloth. They're using that as a spot color. You're going to see that color repeated, and I just love this model. It is really great. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Everything from the staff to the feathers to the model itself, the pose. It just looks really terrific. Alright, moving on to our Wolverine Savage Orruk. He's got a great pose. He's roaring. I like that scar on his head. I think if I'm going to paint him, I would add a little bit more Screamer Pink to the green highlight color so that there's a little bit more bruising. It looks a little bit more fresh and angry. And I like the claws. Notice how his nails, his fingernails, are that dark green. But his teeth are the color of bone and usually toenails. How come these guys don't have toenails? Are the color of bone, Rakarth flesh. But the claws, his Wolverine claws, which I thought originally were silver, I was kind of upset about because I thought, oh, these are Savage Orruks. They shouldn't have metal and silver. But no, they look like they are claws of a giant animal, a predator. Maybe a jungle cat like a lion or a saber-toothed tiger, something like that. I dig the fur and the feathers, like I mentioned. There you can see on his loincloth a little bit more purple. Wow, and this guy's really going at it with the purple. Look at him. He appears to be wearing a Seraphon skin. I think they probably went with that spot color purple because they didn't want to terrify all the little kids and those with gentle constitutions. They probably killed the Seraphon lizard man warrior and skinned it, and now he's wearing it because it's warm and it's got scales for protection. You can see this one's got a lot more skin showing, so you're going to be able to do more with the painting, the highlighting, the shades. I think my recipe for these guys would be spray the whole thing with Death Guard green, shade the skin with a Athonian camel shade, and block out the other colors while that shade is drying, and then build that up. Isn't that a shame? Back in the day, the way you paint an orc was Wa Flesh, or War Boss green, and then shade it with a Biel-Tan green and highlight it up with Skarsnik green. I mean, like, they have orc and goblin names. And now they're going with this more muted and like somber color scheme, which is okay. It allows the crazy bits and bobs to be able to be picked out. The skin of the orc is not as bright, radioactive in your face, which you would think they would want to do, actually, because Age of Sigmar, it's all about high fantasy. Oh, look, he's got a silver earring. Where's his toenails? He shouldn't have a silver earring. Ooh, this guy's great. Look at that bow. That bow is so Savage Orky, with the teeth jabbed through it, the fangs jabbed through it to make the bow itself like a club. If worse comes to worse, he's just going to grab one end of it and use the other end as just a whacking stick. I love this model too. Look at the bones, the skulls of the birds. This is great. I mean, when you compare this to the Lumineth Ballista, where all the colors are so smooth and the transitions are so seamless, this you can see a lot of really bright highlighting and very stark highlighting. They're really letting you play more with these. You can have a little bit more freedom to make mistakes, and there's a wider surface areas so that you can play on. I've noticed with any kind of elf figure, the helmets, the faces, everything is a lot more precise. You want to be more precise because you make a mistake on an elf figure, you are going to really tell they're going to look very wonky. So, my thoughts on these models, I think for a box that's going to cost between $30 and $40 American, you're looking at paying about $10 per model. And if you can use these in your Age of Sigmar Savage Orruks Orruk warband, then why not, man? Add these 4 individual distinct models that nobody else is going to have. If I were to suggest anything, which they probably did not do because of the cost to produce it, it would have been cool to see one of these models, maybe the Shaman, although the Shaman is doing his crazy dance, so maybe not. Maybe the Chief with the Wolverine claws, or maybe even one of the other guys to be on a boar. The old Warhammer Fantasy Savage Orcs were known to have boar boys that looked really great charging into battle on giant slavering war pigs, and you could throw the tattoos on them. That's another thing. These guys don't have tattoos either. Looks like they're going for a different kind of aesthetic. Man, I don't know if you guys remember this, but look up some old Savage Orc metal models from the 80s and 90s. They used to have like bones jabbed through their noses, like real world tribesmen. So they're going away from the real world. Looks like, and they used to wear furs, like leopard pelts and skins and stuff like that. And except for that one Wolverine guy, most of them look like they're just going with hides or that lizard man hide. Yeah, these guys look really good for an orc player. Which, okay, this is totally heads and shoulders, I would say, rather, above the other orc warband, which just looked like orc art boys. 4 orc art boys put in a box, and then they charge you $40 for all their rules and everything, when this looks so much better. Each one looks like a character telling a story. They look so distinct. The other one just looked like copy and pasted orcs in heavy armor with double-handed weapons, I think, or 2 weapons. But it's like you could just build these orcs out of a Art Boys kit. These definitely look like they have their own character, their own histories, their own stories they're telling narratively, and they get a thumbs up from me. I like them. What do you guys think? Do you collect Savage Orruks? Never gonna get used to saying that, Orruks. And what do you think of these models? Do you think they are worth the price of whatever, 30 to 40 US dollars? And would you collect them? If you have a Savage Orruk army, are you looking at adding these to your ranks? And if you play Warhammer Underworlds, which I currently do not, but if you do, then are you thinking you might add these guys to your roster? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. And don't forget to hit that like button before you get out of here. And we will see you in the next video. Latest, players!
What up, players? Gandalf the Grey, up in Dismal. Support Warboss Tales Studios. For now, more than ever. Hobbiton is in desperate need of heroes. Heroes like Daniel Sprinkle, Scrag Fist, Brad 94H, Pigs, Dicey Guy, Play It Painted, and Logan Swanson.